to also share with you the difference that I can see between doing Agile and being Agile, right? So I have two analogies over here. You can see this guy, Phelps, swimming over there. And the story is like, okay, let's suppose that you're standing in the front of a pool and someone is telling you, hey, I will teach you how to swim, right? So you need to put your hands like this, and you need to do this with your legs, and then you need to jump into the water, and certain steps or certain advice, right, that they are giving you. These would be kind of the practices like, hey, do Scrum, hey, do stand-ups, hey, have a sprint reviews, but this is just doing Agile, right? This is just, and I have seen many companies where they just say, okay, we're going to do Scrum with the teams just because it's that everyone is doing it, right? But without teaching our teams the 12 principles, the 4 values, the 3 pillars of Scrum, and without teaching them the manifesto, I think that even if you had all the instructions, you will jump into the pool and probably you will sink, right, or sank. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's not so important. Of course, it's important to do an Agile framework or methodology, or follow some steps and some meetings and those will help. Just like the other analogy over there, where you are starting to play bowling and you put these rails on the sides. These could be the practices, right? But at the end, if you want to get good at swimming, if you don't want to go down the pool, if you want to do better in bowling, you need to learn the being Agile part, right? The values, the communication, the customer focus, the constant feedback, the quick interactions or iterations, right? So that's kind of the message from this slide. As you work in your projects and as we try to implement some of the Scrum frameworks or Kanban or SAFe or whatever, we should always keep in our minds that there's something behind each of the meetings and each of these frameworks, right? Let's talk about the stand-up, right? It's okay to do stand-ups, but I have seen teams that do stand-ups and they just go over there, they tell what are they doing, what blockers they had, and what they have done. And it doesn't bring a lot of agility to the business, right? So behind the stand-up, let's think of continuous communication, continuous detection of blockers, continuous adaptation for the team to the plan so we can achieve the sprint goal, right? So that's the hidden part, or the part behind. That's what we call being Agile, right? It's not the fact of having the daily Scrum meeting, as long as that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is what's behind it, right? So that's a message that I want to share with you over these slides. That's the invitation to always think of what's the goal behind each of the Scrum events or Kanban or whatever we're doing. What's the main being Agile? What's the purpose, or how are we being Agile by doing this Agile ceremony or event, right? So that's kind of the message on this slide.